Right, good morning, everybody. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Harris County Houston Sports Authority Board of Directors for Tuesday, July 8, 2025. Start time at 10 a.m. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I do recognize that we do have a quorum, and so we will proceed with the meeting. Ask Ryan if we have anyone signed up to address the board this morning.
We do. One person, Mr. Jacob Clemente. Jacob, you want to take the podium up there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome, Jacob. Good morning.
I was at Commissioner's Court and Rodney Ellis had this to say.
It is now 2:06. The Commissioner's Court is back in order for the primary purpose of letting Jacob speak.
See, I'm the primary purpose of everything. I can't turn it off. Well, I can turn it off, but
She
I'm.
was kind enough to autograph it for me. She said, "Dear Jacob, I thank you for making our community a better place." And that sounds a lot. She's a good commissioner. She's great, almost a great commissioner, like Mr. Ramsey.
Yeah.
And about David Welch. Yeah, I talked about him. It is now 2:06. The
Okay,
Commissioner's Court is back in order.
Okay, what I want to talk about now is this coach of mine, a friend of mine named Rosie Royale, actually Rosie de la Torres, and she's a singer-songwriter, actress, whatever, a whole lot of things, good things, and she's wanting to sing the national anthem before one of our sport venues, and so she was thinking maybe with one of y'all here, y'all could help her get a place to sing over there. Her name is Rosie Rao, and she's on this commercial for the Houston Public Library on Comcast, and at any rate, she is a good friend of mine, and she is also a coach. She helped me go from 200 pounds to 180 pounds. And so she wants me to eat real healthy, and she gets me to eat real healthy. And she also, we're planning to do water aerobics this Friday. And well, after I speak here, I'm gonna, and the meeting is over, I plan to go to the city council to talk to them also about Rosie Royale.
My computer's pink one.
Okay.
I can control it from my computer.
All right.
I'm also gonna play for y'all a song that she has composed. It's called "Spell in Love," and I'm gonna play it for y'all right now. I'm nervous. I'm nervous as a Nelly. Okay, and okay.
You got 30 seconds, so we'd love to hear it.
I don't know if I could get it in 30 seconds, but it's called Love Spell, and then she sings quite nice. She almost sings and looks as good as Selena. You know, that poor Mexican-American lady that got killed by her taskmaster. And so, please remember Rosie Royale, and I'm going to email the information to those people who give me their business cards, information on Rosie Royale, because she's quite a good person. She's a singer, songwriter, actress, model, and she also played football in high school out in California. She's from California, and her father lives there, and she's like born in 1985, and so she's a good girl. And at any rate, we're going to do water aerobics this Friday at where I live, and so far there's just me and this other attendant, but yeah, I wish I had time to play for you her music called Love Spell, but I gotta be off.
All right, well, maybe after the meeting, we'll stick around and hear it.
Yeah.
So thank you, and congratulations on the weight loss.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Any other speakers?
No, sir.
All right, so moving just a couple of introductions and of our guests. Marcel Braithwaite with the Astros, thank you for being here. Sean Johnson, Dynamo Dash, and I saw Doug Hall with the Rockets right behind me. Congratulations on the big acquisition a couple of weeks ago, and so some exciting moves there. I saw the Astros yesterday had a couple call-ups making their debut, so that was pretty cool.
They beat the hell out of the Dodgers, too.
Yeah, so good weekend series. So anyway, congratulations to that as well. On tab 3, we have the minutes from the board meeting that was held on April 2025. If I could ask the board, all right, there's been a motion to approve the board meetings, and there's a second as well. Any comments? Hearing none, I vote motion to approve. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So the minutes are approved. We're going to take some things out of order just based on some time constraints and of some of our guests. But for now, I just, a couple of remarks for me that I'd like to address the committee. First of all, I'd like to thank Nomi, one of our board members, for breakfast. So thanks, Nomi, for supplying breakfast. Congratulate Chris Newport on the change, and thank you for the service to our mayor and the city for a while, but now that the change to Accenture, so congratulations on the move. Marty received an award also at the Houston Lawyers Association Scholarship and Awards Gala. So next time you see Marty, just congratulate her on that recognition, if you will. And then a couple of events that the Sports Authority has been involved in that many of us did attend, but I wanted to publicly mention and thank the Sports Authority for what it's done. The first was the Houston Business Journal's hosting of the successful Business of Sports event and panel that was led by our own CEO, Ryan Walsh here. And it was a great event if you attended. But it was, a lot of the major, all of the major sporting and along with the Houston Rodeo attended, and they were on a panel there, and just a great discussion regarding the business of sports and how it affects the city of Houston and the surrounding area. So just great event. And then, of course, the FIFA 1 Year Out celebration. What an amazing event, well attended, just went off, incredibly well, and super excited at the 1 year mark. So again, I wanted to congratulate the FIFA host committee, but also the Houston Sports Authority for bringing that up. And then finally, the Battle of the Bands press conference that happened in May. Also very exciting, some great speakers, and so looking forward to that happening. And then finally, for myself, I just wanted to thank the Sports Authority on the new and updated website. Very dynamic, good work, on that. And so if you haven't gone to the website, please go look at it. It's new and improved, and it's continuously being updated. So I wanted to thank the Sports Authority and the staff for making that change happen. With that, I will turn it over to our CEO, Ryan.
Yes, sir. We're going to take a couple items out of order this morning in the interest of time for some of our guests, and we will turn it over to Chairman Wolf of the Building Committee.
All right. Eli, thank Chairman. Good morning, everybody. First of all, I'd like to give my same apology for the cause and effect to my attendance at the last meeting, but so that's why we're doing today. But that wouldn't happen here. We'll make sure of that. But the Rockets and the Astros representatives gave a presentation to the Building Committee. And Mr. Chair, at the recommendation of the Building Committee, we moved to approve agenda items number 13 and number 4.
like for you to review action items 13, 14. The items listed on there, for the Rockets are specifically, basically the seating is going to be replaced, and then the Astros have various projects that are listed there. And so I'll ask for a motion to approve. All right. So there's a motion and a second to approve the request by the Houston Rockets and the Astros at Daikin Field. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, both, the motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Lacey, appreciate it, and thanks for the work on the building committee on that. Ryan?
Yes, sir. A few items to update the board and our guests on today. First was, for those that were there Sunday, it was a fantastic match between the United States and Mexico at NRG Stadium with the Gold Cup final. As a reminder, this was the first time that the final was hosted in Houston, and in my opinion, it was a great precursor to what we're going to see next summer as far as the excitement, the coordination that happened. This was, for all intents and purposes, a very big match, not just for the city, but for the soccer community. The president of FIFA was there, Gianni Infantino. The vice president of FIFA, who is also the president of CONCACAF, Victor Montagliani, was there, along with MLS, U.S. Soccer, all of the other soccer federations were there. It was to do and a who's who of the soccer world internationally at NRG Stadium. But it was also a fantastic match. Congratulations to Mexico on their win, of course, 2-1. But I think it's a great precursor of what's to come next summer. So get ready. It's going to be 7 more of those over 39 days. Yeah, Linda shares. And I had the opportunity to visit with President Infantino, and I said, I don't think Houston gets it yet, how big of a deal this really is. And he agreed. He said this is the biggest thing they've ever done as far as a coordinated effort. So for them to acknowledge that this is a big deal is a pretty big deal. So we're excited about it. There here some pictures from there as well. Just you can see Mayor Whitmire was there as well. In fact, it was a bit of a running joke. On Sunday morning, I got a call and said, President Infantino was a little offended that the mayor's not going to be sitting with him this morning. I said, what are you talking about? I said, well, he wants him to sit with him. And I said, well, let me call him and ask. And so we ended up having the mayor sit with President Infantino and Victor and the president of U.S. Soccer. He had a great time and had a great conversation as well, so represented the city of Houston very, very well. Thank you, Mayor Whitmire and his staff for helping us make that happen. As Chairman Garcia mentioned, the website was updated by our marketing team, and I have to give a huge shout out to Morgan and Rachel for their efforts on the website redesign. They did a fantastic job. They really took this task to heart and really put a lot of creative effort into it, which is exactly what I had asked for them. And I'd like Morgan and Rachel to sort of go over what they've done and preview the website for you all.
As you guys can see, we definitely did a huge kind of rebranding as well with the Sports Authority, so that definitely was getting implemented into our website. So we actually worked with the Stowns, which is our previous people who we kind of worked with, and they really helped us bring this vision to life. And so the main thing kind of when Ryan came in is like we really wanted to rebuild this website and make it something that was super user friendly, that anyone could go on and they could get any of the information that they needed to from the Sports Authority on there. Enhancing that user experience was crucial. Wanting to make everything feel very transparent, so any documents that we are releasing we're able to kind of implement into the website as well. So if you kind of go in and take a look, we have a whole section with all the different documents that we kind of put out to the public that anyone can go in and see. And then as well as our live stream, which is super great that we implemented as well. So we have a spot on our website that whenever we're live streaming something, you're able to come in and kind of just really see all those different places that we've live streamed, not only our board meetings, but any other future event that we're having, we'll be able to put that there and link out to our website. And that's not only just bringing more traffic to the website, but also just putting us out in front of a lot of different people in different ways, which is huge. So as you can see, even like our PowerPoint has a different look and feel. You kind of notice that in the different things. A little bit premature with our launch on that, but I'm happy that we're finally getting to do that, not only on the website, but also on all of our digital platforms. And then anything that you see moving forward is going to have this similar look and feel to it. So anything that you guys need created on, like, that's coming from on behalf of the Sports Authority, please feel free to reach out to us, and we're more than happy to create anything that you guys need. If it's a flyer, if it's just something little with the logo, because that's something that's also different, is that our colors kind of changed in the logo. So I just want to make sure that you guys are utilizing it correctly. So by all means, feel free to shoot me an email, and I will be happy to create anything. Our team will be happy to create anything. So yeah.
Morgan has a very good way of gently correcting us when we're not using the logo and brand correctly. So she's done a fantastic job of managing our brand. And to Morgan's point, one of the things that I wanted is, the Sports Authority is a great resource for a lot of our stakeholders and partners, and I want our website to be seen as such as well. So making it more user-friendly, more interactive was very important to me. So when you log on, you immediately see that it's very easy to find the information you're looking for, whether it's the public information from the leases and the contracts, or it's the board meeting info, or as it's a good segue for Maria's next, is the Buy Houston and the vendor info, which of course is going to become a more permanent and hopefully brighter future and fixture of the Sports Authority. But it's a phenomenal job by our marketing team, and a big kudos to them. And with that, as I said, nice segue to an update for our Buy Houston program and the FIFA Connect with Maria Durant.
Yes, so I'm very happy that to update everybody on all of everything that's been happening behind the scenes. So, thank you. Yeah. So as you know, over the last couple of months, we've been going out everywhere, making sure that everybody in Houston is aware of our Buy Houston program. And I'm happy to say that with everything that we've done preparing not only the outreach, but also updating and expanding our database, we have really helped FIFA with their program. So a couple of weeks ago, I had a call with the procurement the procurement department at FIFA, and they will be launching their own program, but they will be using all of our information as the base for that. They were very excited that we were able to get steps 1 and 2 out of the way. So, we've done the outreach, we have a database, and now we're working with them in order to produce the curated list, that database the directory that they will be using. And also connect them with those stakeholders that are here in Houston. We're working very closely also with Manal, as we're all going to make sure that everything that they need is there. So they have provided a list of the main categories that they will need, and that's something that I can share with everybody. As they produce this list, the timeline is a little bit. They said that they would be able to get this out by the fall, so we will have more information. Right now, they're working across the 11 cities here in the United States, creating the directory, but we're at the forefront of that, so they were very excited about that. And this program aligns very closely with our Buy Houston program. So not only have we done the outreach, we have the database, but because of the way that it's structured, we are also able to help them with some of that reporting and also the storytelling afterwards. The vendor program, as I mentioned, we have been expanding the database, and we're now at over 400 vendors. And thanks to Morgan and team, we now have a seamless registration program where you can just go onto the website, register, and then that information comes directly to us. And like I said, this is something that we're sharing internally and with our planning partners. And as we continue to build out the program, one of the asks that I have for everybody is just if there's any events or any organizations that you feel that we've maybe missed or we need to connect with, just please let us know so that we can make sure that we are reaching everybody. Here is a calendar of some of the events that we have attended over the last couple of months. And then you will also see that we have a couple of events coming up these next 2 months. And so, again, these have been invitations that we've received, and we continue to knock on doors and, like I said, foster relationships with everybody. Here are some pictures from that. SBA Awards, that was one of the key events. We were able to work with them since last year to have, a soccer theme, and so that really brought everybody together. We were able to have Chris out there speak on what's coming and really get the word out to the business community so that everybody can start preparing. And as you can see, we've been to other chamber events. Thank you, Dr. Murillo, for the invitation to Hispanic Chamber as well. Oh, my apologies. Oh, and then aside from that, we also continue to be part of a lot of community events. And so in April, we had Houston Loves Teachers attend the Astros games. Last year, we did a fundraiser during the Clásico at Energy Stadium, and we're now able to see the fruits of that labor. We raised almost $10,000, and so in May, AMA was able to launch their indoor after-school soccer program, so very excited about that. And then earlier this month, we were part of the KHOU Roundtable community event, and so another way to just make sure that we're connected with everybody in the community and that that we can make sure and see all these happy faces that are connected to sports here in Houston. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And we'll be working with the finance department to increase the budget for mileage so that Maria can go to more events. So as she said, we encourage you guys, if you do have an event that you think would be appropriate, let us know. We'd love to go. We'd love to be a part of that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, in response to bias and bias, initially there was a committee, and it may have been an ad hoc committee, that looked into all of these events as to what's going on. I would like to know whether or not we're going to have some action or work along with Mr. Ryan so that we can be intentional on how we disseminate this information. For example, I'm vice dean of the consulate corps. There are 92 countries represented, yet soccer is within those countries. It's very important, and yet there's no information. Yes, I would like to see how we can somehow get together and see whether or not there's some synergy or how we can work together. And just communicate with those communities. So I would also like to share with you how far we've come. Initially, when this committee was formed, the calls were, the major calls you get today, where can I find tickets? You have free tickets, etc. But now, the issue now is how can we engage in business? And this is very important. Now this becomes the center of everything else. We can answer those questions on tickets easily. Hey, tickets go until December 25th. But how can we engage? So those are the calls that are coming in from the business community, all communities. How can we get involved? So I just want to let you know that we have to be intentional in this space. So whether you decide to go back to a committee because of the volume, and then work along with we're actually doing next jobs. I just wanted to put that on the table so that we all understand what we're doing.
Sure. So two things. First, on the tickets, I always send them to you whenever I get the calls. And so you'll be getting more calls on that. But maybe after this meeting, we'll touch base regarding that. I guess it wasn't a formal committee, but that ad hoc, and maybe we make it more formalized, so like that, our board is represented and we can update the board, not only through Maria and the Sports Authority itself, but, we have board member representation on there, so we'll touch base, and maybe by August, that'll be in place for our August board meeting, so there'll be an update on that. So thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I think it's important that we're managing expectations, especially for the small business community, because we keep telling them the economic impact of billions, and they're going to those of us that are out there in the business community. So thank you, Your Honor, for all of the work on the website and having that. I'm everywhere, and so are you. So thank you for all that you do. People recognize her as the go-to person for all of these questions, and now we've got a website to send it to. So very proud.
Mr. Chairman, I do echo what the preliminary said at the beginning of the table here. I'm also met with Maria and the Commissioner Bernie Moniz is on top of this. This is something that is dear to her. There is a committee. I know there was another committee. And so we can kind of come together to figure this out. Maria has done a great job. There's lots of outreach. I've been approached by the Korean community. You mentioned your name, Ryan, Mr. Lee, and other folks that I met at the FIFA event. So there's lots of work that we have on outreach. I'm actually to see the list of categories because that's going to be important so that our information gets sent out to these organizations. But I do include myself. I don't see Robert was here, but certainly he was on that committee as well. And we want to make sure that this is fleshed out and that 400 shoots up.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks for the comments, and maybe we said, we look at that committee, whatever was established, and set a formal kind of like the building committee does, the finance committee does, that has an interim meeting so that could, to the extent anything needs to be communicated and or approved for the board, we do that. But I mean, great, where we're going so far, and you're right, it needs to get out to our community and our business community. And I will tell you, I know you mentioned Commissioner Briones, but I don't know that there isn't a commissioner or judge that has not mentioned the importance, and the mayor, of this program, and to make sure that we are taking care of our minority-owned small business here in Houston and our workforce. And so we will continue to do what we need to do, both the Sports Authority and as a board, to make sure that this program is successful, not only just for FIFA, but hopefully in the long term, and that we set a roadmap for all of the events that the Sports Authority puts on, and that we are, a roadmap for other organizations here in Houston to follow. Kind of like FIFA's following us now and asking us for assistance. We hope that we can help the other organizations here in Houston that are, established to bring and highlight Houston. We hope the Sports Authority is the forefront of that organization that does that.
Thank you. Up next is an update from our friends at the Houston Astros on a major event coming up next spring at Dyken Park, World Baseball Classic. It's going to be a fantastic event. And here with us today is Mr. Marcel Braithwaite.
Thank you for letting me be here this morning. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Nothing like being in the shadow of the World Cup, but we have another small global event coming up, and it is called the World Baseball Classic, and I happen to be pinch hitting for Rachel, who's on vacation this week since we canceled the previous board meeting. So thank you. I appreciate that. Now that I know who I can thank. But we wanted to just give you a little bit of an update on the World Baseball Classic. You each have a hat in front of you with the logo. I've got it on my lapel as well. We'll go through some slides to tell you a little bit about the event, but what I love, the Consular Corps conversation, right? I tell you, when President Pavel came to town and we hosted him in the Sports Authority suite, right? Since then, I've had the ambassador come multiple times, and just to do sports diplomacy through sports with these countries. The Czech Republic has come and played against our team in spring training now a couple times as they try to prepare for the World Baseball Classic. We had Queen Maxima from the Netherlands, which was pretty special for me since I was born in Rotterdam, come and do meetings at Minute Maid Park. And so we love diplomacy through sports and the relationships that we build. And we have another great opportunity here with this premier baseball event that we'll be hosting in March. And so it is under the shadow of the World Cup, I get it, but this is still a large-scale event that we are bringing to Houston with the help of the Houston Sports Authority and Houston First. You put the bid in. We are the host venue for this, and this will be a great economic impact for the city as well as we host this tournament here. It is held every 2 to 4 years. I'm not going to read all these slides. You guys all speak the language, and the slides are thorough. But I think there are some things to advise. I mean, the focus on baseball. I grew up playing football, soccer football, and then started playing baseball in Little League. And the thing that I love about it is the social aspect of the game, right? You all are at the suite, you know what it's like, but it's the international flavor that sports brings, and baseball does the same thing. We were in LA this weekend with the team. We had a family trip. It turned out very successful. It was fun to watch Shohei pitch 2 innings only and finish the game on the winning side of that. But the attraction that it brings based upon these incredible athletes and this incredible sport that we get to watch is fantastic, and it's beyond our borders. It's growing internationally significantly. Last year I had a chance to go to London Stadium, and assist as they put on a game there, and it matters in all of these continents and all these countries. It is huge. I would love to have our fans be like Japan, where everybody picks up the trash after the game as well, but that doesn't happen. But Japan is a powerhouse. South Korea is a powerhouse. But you see it even in countries like Australia. It's growing, right? It's amazing what the history of baseball has done. Certainly here in North America, it's large, and in the Caribbean, it's the history of the Marines going around all these countries and teaching these little young kids how to play baseball, and that's just developed into something that is a great way to bring communities together, even in poor communities, right? As we see throughout South America as well. Europe, I played baseball in the Netherlands. It's called honkbal, and got to do it as a child. It is none of the good players are in the Netherlands, though. They're all in Curacao and they're all in the islands because of the Caribbean. But it's pretty neat. Netherlands and Italy are typically the European champions. They kind of flip here and there. Strong, powerful countries in playing. And even then you had Israel being an underdog in 2017 with the Israeli players. In 2023, over 1.3 million people attended across the 3 venues that hosted it. And it's the viewership worldwide that's significant, that puts the spotlight back on the city as well, right? It's not an insignificant event. It's pretty amazing. In comparison, we all know how big cricket is. When we hosted the cricket All-Star game, that was in 45 million homes, but it was all in India and Pakistan and Australia and UK, and that was it. This is across a lot more countries. 20 teams compete in 4 pools. And again, if you saw the last game of the U.S. versus Japan, iconic, memorable, and will be talked about for years to come. The who's who will play. Players are already signing up for next year on the countries that they will represent. Altuve played. Some of our fan base wishes he hadn't because he did get hurt during the WBC, but our players love it. The players love being able to play for their countries and represent the game across the globe. And so we will see stars compete in this. This is the format, and so we will be hosting pool play, as you can see in the bottom left of the screen, and we will also be hosting the quarterfinals. After that, the semifinals and the championship will be held in Miami. We hope to be able to bid on the next round to host it all the way through the championship, as it is a pretty significant tournament. There's been qualifying play all throughout this year already, and so we expect a significant amount of attendance here, and this will be our debut as a city to host the WBC in the month of March leading up to that. It's going to be a great baseball month. We'll have the College Classic that we host. We'll flip the building for the WBC, and then a week later we'll be having opening day, opening series, and then we're heading into baseball season as well as the World Cup. So it is going to be a fun tournament. It really matters to have international cities like ourselves host this, not only for the visibility it gives us across the globe and our ability to facilitate with multiple nations, but the fact that we can continue to build this game across the globe in fan bases everywhere. This is our schedule. We don't host doubleheaders normally at Dyken Park because we have this incredible roof that you let me maintain, so we never have rainouts. But during the pool play, we will be hosting doubleheaders. 2 games a day, expect sellouts on both games, so we're expecting somewhere around 80,000 people downtown each day on these doubleheaders and flipping the ballpark. Some of the modifications that we've been doing over time in Dyken Park that you've helped us with, such as the warehouse and the refrigerated warehouse, all of these things are leading up to our ability to actually host and flip that type of volume in our building. And so even what you voted on today helps us prepare for the WBC next year. So we're grateful for your support in keeping the building in a condition that is attracting people for these type of events. There will be an opportunity for these teams that are not playing on the day of the doubleheaders to be down in Sugar Land at the Space City Cowboys to work out. And so we are also seeing activity in Sugar Land as well as here in downtown Houston. And then we roll into the single game finals. They have set up the competition in a way Mexico sells out every single time. The U.S. will sell out every single time. But we have some great nations here that'll be fun to see how they compete. They qualified, and there'll be some strong competition here that we'll be able to see during our game schedule. So all eyes on Houston. It is great. We have a wonderful partner in Dyken. Their Japanese contingent, timing of that with WPC is amazing, especially with the strength of the sport in Japan. And so we're gonna look forward to the amount of tourism that's coming in, even from Asia. I know how much that they're asking to provide capacity during the WBC. So what we want is to basically do this same thing again, but partner with you for 2030. It would be an amazing event to have all the way through the championship series here in this city. Again, it's going to be a busy year for you and us and for everybody else in Houston in 2026. But what a wonderful way for you to warm up to the World Cup by having another international event and participate with us at the WBC. So thank you for your support on this. We'll expect about 500,000 people in a matter of 7 days come through Dyken Park. And so it's not a small feat, but we're excited about hosting it. Also happy to answer any questions you might have about it. If not, wear your hat proud, loud, WBC, not World Cup, WBC.
Marcel, I happened to be in London last week, and along with FIFA, one of the taxi drivers mentioned the WBC and that their team is coming to Houston. And so I'll tell you, it is nothing brings the world together and our community better than sports. And so I just want you to mention it was mentioned last week while I was overseas. So congratulations to the Astros and, of course, the Authority and Houston First for this. And while you said it's in the shadows, there is no shadow. It'll be a forefront of the Sports Authority, come March, along with the rodeo.
Well, hopefully we'll make this
in March, but
it's a busy time. Well, all of those visitors at the rodeo will be coming to the game, and the game will go to the rodeo. So hopefully this builds on build, right? And it's peak on peak, and it'll be a good month for this city of Houston. So
absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Coming up next is our very own Mr. Chris Canetti.
That was a nice voiceover voice you had there. Dave, can he cut it or what? All right, well, good. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you and good to follow Marcel here. Just going to give a quick update on our progress around the 2026 FIFA World Cup planning. So we are now 339 days until the first match here in Mexico City, and that puts us 342 days out from the first match here in Houston. And while that's the timeline when games will be played, we're 10 months from really taking over and starting to move into NRG Park and building out the Fan Fest here in Edo. So the clock is ticking, and it's ticking quite fast on us. Last month, some of you may have been in attendance for our 1 year out celebration. It was a great day. I think it really helped elevate the excitement and interest in the World Cup, and this little video here, I think, helps tell the story.
We are 1 year away from beginning the 2026 FIFA World Cup. We've already been working on this for years. We are ready. We are the best when it comes to staging these kinds of events. This may be the biggest sporting event ever held, but for Houston, the city that powers the nation's energy, that helped put a man on the move, this is, to put it simply, what we do.
I'm so excited that we're going to do things to help our small, particularly our minority and women-owned businesses, so they are in the game and not just on the sidelines.
It's the most watched sporting event in the world, a global celebration that brings people together from all different backgrounds, from every nation. And now Houston will be a part of that extraordinary story.
Let's make history. Let's show the world the power of America, the power of Houston.
Let's enjoy today to soak it in and realize how fortunate we are to live in the great city of Houston. Let's go to work.
So I think what's going on is everybody knows the World Cup is a big event, and as we get closer and things start to happen and events like these happen, people are realizing it's much bigger than they even knew. And you saw the mayor give his comments there. One of the things that struck me in his remarks was he said that this was a defining moment for him. How when he was at that event, it really occurred to him how big this is going to be. And for any of you who were at the Gold Cup on Sunday, the U.S.-Mexico final, you heard that time and time again. Wow, look at this. This is massive. I never realized it was this big. And as big as that was on Sunday, the World Cup's going to be even bigger. And I think that realization is starting to hit everybody here as we get closer. So the planning is going really well. I'm pleased to report there's no hiccups. We have a plan. We're tracking to that plan. And everything is really on target. The big news really just hit us last week in that we had a federal funding request amongst the 11 U.S. host cities for $625 million for safety and security. That was in the bill that just recently passed. And so that $625 million will now trickle down to the host cities to help cover the significant cost of securing the event. So this is going to have a major positive impact on on our budget and how we're funding this event, and it really eases the financial pressures on the host committee. One way of saying it is, we were teetering in terms of we're really close to breaking even on. When I say breaking even, our goal is not to profit, but we needed to make sure we weren't losing money, and now this puts us in a much safer financial position. And it was a really good effort that took place amongst the 11 U.S. host cities to lobby our federal government. Started back during the Biden administration, and we just got it done. So big news on that front. The NRG Stadium renovations were recently completed. This was big as well. Kind of flies under the radar, but in order for us to be compliant to hold matches at NRG Stadium, we basically needed to widen the pitch area. This took years of planning, coordination, and effort. This needed to be done now, before the Gold Cup game last week, before the Texan season, before the rodeo. We're not going to have any time to do it. So really well done to get this done, to get it funded, and to make it happen. Some of you have seen this in the past, but for a refresher, basically what we needed to do is we needed to cut out the corners where you see those colored areas. We needed to push deeper into the bowl to provide more space to be compliant, to put a proper size soccer pitch in there. So that's what needed to be cut out, and that's what it looks like now. So that's what the walls being pushed back and reshaped looks like. What's going to happen for Texans games, rodeos, and other things is there's a seating that gets plugged in there, so the stadium doesn't lose any seating. It just as an impact, this is in part legacy, because now the stadium with this added width has more flexibility for other types of events, i.e. A rugby match or something like that when the World Cup of Rugby comes through. So again, this is what it looks like done. Again, great effort, NRG Park, host committee, other people really involved in making this happen. So that's a done deal. Our safety and security transportation groups are regularly meeting, well organized, and the planning is underway. We've got so many different stakeholders involved in this, and as they meet and as things come together, these plans will be finalized here before the end of the summer. Just to give you some idea, these are the logos that represent just the agencies, the key agencies involved in the safety and security planning alone. So you can imagine the coordinated effort that this is. and what it requires. This is the org chart for safety and security, just some key people and personnel that are involved. So very intense, covering a lot of different areas across the city, with great collaboration at both the city, county level, and other organizations as well. So FIFA continues to report back to us how pleased they are with Houston and its efforts around this front. Same could be said from the transportation perspective. Again, numerous agencies, city, county wide, meeting with regularity, with lots of collaboration taking place to pull off what will be a great transportation plan. I mentioned safety and security and transportation because they seem to be the hot buttons. They seem to be the things that everybody wants to talk about. And I think it's important to show that we have so many people involved in this process and properly collaborating to build a great plan. So probably at a next board meeting, we'll be able to unveil more details of exactly what this plan is going to look like. So one of the most important things we have to do as a host committee is ensure a good playing field over at NRG Stadium. We cannot fall short on this. Any type of problems with the field will be a negative reflection on Houston. You see this time and time again when international soccer matches are played in the United States and they bring in a temporary field and it doesn't look good and it doesn't play good and it's not up to international standards, it becomes a negative PR element. So there's a huge obligation for us. It's a huge expense for us. We've finalized our plan in cooperation with FIFA, and we've hired the contractor to do it. The company's called Precision Turf. They won the RFP process. This is a little drawing of how complex it's going to look. Just to put this in perspective for you, the other night for the Gold Cup, they basically rolled sod in from a sod farm in Texas, rolled it out over the concrete floor. Okay, and they put it down for the game, and then they take it out. We're going to have this complex system with this is called a permavoid, that gives it balance and flexibility. There's going to be sub-air ventilation, there's going to be irrigation, there's going to be a 20-inch sand base, and then that sod gets rolled in 20 days before the first match. It gets stitched together. If the plan comes together, when you show up at that first match on June 14th, it's going to look like that field was permanent and has been there forever. So big deal to get that plan done, to get the contractor done, and for this work to continue in the right way. $7.5 million.
What is your plan B? As you said, if it goes the way it's supposed to, is there a plan B for this?
Well, there's no plan B. This is the architectural design, if you will, right? There's going to be our sod is coming in from Colorado. It's being shipped on refrigerated trucks. We have to keep the roof closed at NRG Stadium from the day the sod gets rolled in to the day it gets pulled out. We have to keep the temperature at 72 degrees. We have to bring in these special grow lights, they're called, from Holland, to mimic the sun, because the roof is going to be closed. So those are very complex things. So there's scientists at the FIFA level working with the universities to have said this is the right plan for Houston. So
It's been done before.
nope. Nope, that's never been done before. So we got all the right people on it. It's never been done before in terms of putting a system in like this in a dome, right, where the roof stays closed, it stays air conditioned, and it has to survive 3 weeks, 6 weeks really, because of the time we build it in, right? It's mostly usually done the way it was done for the Gold Cup. Bring it in, roll it out, get in, get out. So.
Chris, are most of the cities in the U.S. using Precision Turf?
Dallas is using them, Atlanta is using them. So the cities who are in a similar situation with us with domes and have to keep, FIFA is requiring us all to use the same type of grass, which is why they're forcing the domes to stay closed and the air conditioning to stay on, and this system is being implemented in other cities. But you've got other situations too where, let's just say in Boston or New York or LA, where it's open air stadiums and they need to bring in grass. That's a different situation. And then you've got other situations where they already have grass, Miami, Kansas City, etc. So different everybody's got a different plan.
Will the system stay underneath the sod after?
No, it all gets taken out, sadly. Yeah. So as soon as we get out of there, they'll be putting they'll be getting ready to put in the field for the NFL season. So, yeah. So it's a shame. I mean, basically, we're building a field, and the way I like to say it, if you want to use this line if asked, we're building a field in that stadium, although it's as though it's going to be permanent, although it's not. Right? It's getting taken out. That's just the level it has to be at. So, but this is an interesting topic. So everybody's very interested in this. At the same time, we have selected our Fan Fest producer. So behind safety and security, this is our number one most expensive cost and our biggest contract. Again, the Fan Festival is going to be a 39-day event out in Edo, 500,000 plus visitors. So we obviously don't have the ability as a small little group to be able to manage something like this. So we've brought in a company called Sport 5, big agency, global agency. They've done work in FIFA World Cups before. They've done fan festivals before. We had a very extensive RFP on this. And narrowed it down and ultimately identified Sport 5 as look at them as the general contractor, right? They have the general contract, and now their job is they're going to bring in lots of I see you looking at me, I know what you're thinking. There's going to be lots of subcontractors, right? And that's where a lot of the local business is going to go, right? To the tents and the bathrooms and the fencing and the security and all these other things. So Sport 5, it's in their contract to be working with our local businesses to provide that business. So now that we've got them secured, this planning is moving very quickly to the next level. So this is a quick little video about the vision for Fan Festival. So again, while the 7 matches will take place down at NRG Stadium, this is a 39-day event over in East Downtown. The matches are all controlled by FIFA. We don't really have any creative ability, if you will, to sort of bring out the local nature of Houston at the stadium. It's going to be what happens in Houston will look the same as Atlanta, Miami, New York, you name it. But the Fan Fest is really our chance to showcase our culture and our city, and that's currently where the vision sits for that. But as I said, now that we have Sport 5 on, we'll really take that plan to the next level. This just gives you a bit of an idea of how it's going to lay out. That's probably a little too complicated. This is better. So you see the Dynamo Stadium there to the north. You see the city to the west. We'll be taking basically all of that space up between parking lots, warehouses, green space, to build out that venue. It's very similar to, doing the golf tournament, right? Where you take a blank canvas and you build something. We're doing the same thing, just happens to be over streets, parking lots, and warehouses in Edo. So there's a better look at the stage area where the matches will be viewed. That's a warehouse that actually has a roof on it, but took the roof off for this visual just to show that it's going to be a food court, beer garden. We will have that branded tent will be our VVIP tent. Our operations, like I said, will be all 39 days, all 104 matches. We'll have special food offerings, and we will have soccer pitches there as well for youth to play and to have clinics and other grow the game initiatives.
Really dumb question, Chris. How worried are you about this?
Very.
I'm hot just looking at it.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, we have to be worried about it, and it's a primary concern. and it's an outdoor event in June and July in Houston, so there's not much we can do about it. But I know that all of our safety and security and medical people are concerned about not wanting to have, incidents. So a big part of our budget here, which you can't see in these drawings, is going to be around cooling stations and ways to provide, keep people cool and safe. So part of the whole thing is we're branding this whole area as Football Fiesta. So we're inviting people down to the district of Edo, if you will. And while we want you to come out to the Fan Festival, which is that footprint right there, we also want you to go to the bars and the restaurants in the area. So that's also a way, come and go, get in and out of the heat as well. Pitch 25 or Rodeo Goat or Eighth Wonder or whatever it might be will be the places where people can kind of get cool as they need to as well. But we're trying to figure out again, this is just an early stage concept. Hopefully we have more tenting. You can see here, these are suites. Hopefully we have more of those where people can buy into air-conditioned private spaces with food and beverage. So we have to think about, I mentioned this big area will be a place where people can get out of the heat as well. So it's a big concern.
So will you have sponsor opportunities?
So in order to be a sponsor in the Fan Festival, you have to be one of two things. You have to be a FIFA partner. So all of FIFA's global partners who spend those big dollars have rights in there. We have more FIFA partners activating in our Fan Festival than any other Fan Festival in North America. They love this footprint. That's a good news, bad news thing. And the only other way someone can be a sponsor in there is if they're a Houston 2026 supporter, right? So that's the big package that we have at $2.5 million. So someone couldn't come in and just do a one-off and be a sponsor of.
Part of what you're.
That's right.
Your deliverable.
That's per FIFA rule too, by the way. It's not just our rule. So that's the only two ways that brands can get into the Fan Festival. Okay.
And your businesses in that area, what are you hearing from them? Are they excited?
Yeah, they're excited.
Do they have concerns?
No, they're excited. More excitement than concerns. So we've been working with them. We brought together all the businesses, and we held sort of open forums with them. At one point, they were begging us, what can we do to make this happen in Edo? At the same time, they want to make sure their businesses aren't interrupted because streets are going to be closed and certain parking lots and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, everybody's excited about the business opportunity and 500,000 plus people going into that area. Yeah.
Chris, follow-up one question. Do you know that, are we going to be playing most of these or all of these games in the evenings? So these walk parties will be
No, so I don't know if you're sure if you're following the World Club Cup, which is taking place right now in America, FIFA Club World Cup. The semifinals are today and tomorrow. They're both at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the U.S., right? And that's for broadcast audiences abroad. So we should expect they haven't given match times yet, but we should expect match times anytime from noon to 8 p.m. So it's going to be a challenge. There will be outdoor heat. So best case scenario, we get a tent over the whole thing, but budget pending. So just on the sponsor update, these are our partners currently signed. In fact, I'm over in the next room with Aramco today. We're doing our kickoff meeting. They've got people in from all over the globe to launch this partnership. So it's a good roster of sponsors up to this point. There's 11 logos on that page. We have secured a record amount of revenue through those partners, not just in Houston but across the World Cup. We have 2 partners pending, so next time I should be able to have at least 2 more logos on there, and we're seeking 5 more partners, and we've got 3 very good conversations going right now where we think all of them could potentially lead to yeses. Fingers crossed, but I'm guessing we probably at least get 2 if one of them doesn't work out, and then there's other preliminary conversations going on. So we're trending in a good place on the fundraising, and to be honest, with the federal funding coming in the other day, it really takes the pressure off of this. While we still want to keep going here, we're not as stressed as we once were in making all of this happen. Yes.
Once you fill this level, will there be other levels of sponsorship?
They won't necessarily be sponsorship. They'll be more like ticketing and hospitality packages. So. Yeah. So when you look at this roster right here, we're obligated by FIFA commercial guidelines to put people in one of two buckets. You could be either a supporter or a donor. Okay? Simply put, a supporter is more of a typical sponsorship where you're going to get external branding. A donor, you do not. Donors can be any brand, but they don't. If they compete with a FIFA partner, that's why they have to be a donor, and they don't get any. So out of this list, there's 5 supporters, Aramco. Actually, the ones across the top are supporters, and the ones across the bottom are donors. Okay? So all the ones across the bottom, just to be honest, conflict with Aramco, right? So you're not going to see these lower brands out there in a sponsorship, so to speak. It's more tickets and hospitality, while the ones up top are going to see. And we're only allowed to have 10. So we've got 5 spots left up top. We have an unlimited number here, sort of. But we will come out with some more of just a ticketing type deal, maybe with some FanFest hospitality and like a suite to the FanFest and stuff like that.
And are they paying the same amount?
In this case, yes. But as we move forward, no. Yes.
So Chris, I just want to say, good job on getting
Thank
Houston's oil and gas companies in the picture, given the handcuffs that, or the short, kind of the restriction that you had on Houston's. This is our city on that bottom line.
Absolutely, yeah. No, they stepped up in a big way, for sure. Let's see. So, while a lot of this has been operational over the course of the last 2 years, we're now starting to transition into more marketing and getting out there and talking to the community and showing people what's going on and getting excitement. So this is the host city poster. You've seen this, I'm sure, by now. Well, we've made a celebrity out of the artist, Stephanie Leal, who created this. This will be the iconic thing that we see over the next year. And, 10 years from now, we look back, this will be the image that we remember when we think about the World Cup. But this is Stephanie's art and her sort of explanation of all the different elements into her poster. We're getting printouts of these soon, and we'll have them for all of you. But you're starting to see advertising. These are real things. Great job reading the newspaper, Morgan. But that's a real billboard. Morgan's the youngest person reading the newspaper. We've seen in a while. Yeah. We have a little. Let's see. So part of this is about marketing and getting the word out about the World Cup's coming, but a lot of it is what is for these folks right here, right? You see their brands are starting to appear. We owe them some exposure for their commitment to us. So that's what that stuff is. Fox 26 has started doing a weekly podcast about the World Cup. So I was a guest on there a few weeks ago. They're helping to build excitement. They own the broadcast rights in English. ESPN 97.5, Glenn Davis has a weekly World Cup radio show now that takes place. We're doing events out there in the community. This happened to be with our partner NRG. They did a clinic. That is one of the greatest American soccer players of all time, Clint Dempsey, who came into town for the event to run a clinic with those kids. So again, just more activation out in the community versus the behind-the-scenes stuff that's been going on lately. I'm getting close to the end here, but I wanted to give an update on what I've talked about plenty of times before, but we have this really ambitious legacy plan in the works to provide more playing access to the game to underserved youth across Harris County. So that's our goal. We want to give kids more access to the game. In order to do that, we need more playable fields that are in good condition, and we need a structure by which these kids can play. And when I say structure, that means they're on a team, they have coaches, they have uniforms, they have equipment, there's a competition platform for them to be a part of. And I don't want to give out all the details right now because I'm hoping we're having we'll get everything done, we'll have a big announcement soon, but we're working with all of our city and county stakeholders and all of the major youth clubs across Houston to develop soccer fields. and to establish a youth club structure where we'll be able to say that we've renovated literally dozens and dozens of fields across multiple parks in Harris County, and are providing free club soccer to up to 1,500 kids annually. So all this is coming together. We think this plan will be ready for an unveiling late summer, early fall, but again, real good collaboration with all of our county precinct leaderships, and even the city as well, so that it'll be an across-the-board effort from anybody. And there's no doubt in my mind if we pull this off, there'll be no other city across North America that'll be able to say they've done something this impactful as it pertains to Grow the Game. Everybody's got a Grow the Game initiative. Everybody's talking about it, but nothing on this scale where we could potentially have 60 soccer fields across 11 parks in Harris County renovated for these youth. So real exciting stuff taking place here. We're going to need 5,200 volunteers. We put an expression of interest out in May. We got a lot of good feedback from that. And coming next month, we'll have a full press release and an announcement on what the volunteer program is going to be like and what the application process is. We're going to be setting up a operations center over at the Post Houston, where we had the 1 Year Out event. That'll be a 10-month operation it's very intense. Interviews, background checks, recruitment, uniform distribution, credentials, you name it, will all take place there. So next month will be a big step forward in the volunteer program. I wish Minal was here to cover this. She would do a much better job than me, but we're about set to release our plan on human rights. It really covers 21 human rights risks across those three categories: safeguarding and inclusion, workers' rights, and remedy. There's 110 different tactics in that plan to help mitigate those risks. Those tactics were developed by over 100 Houston stakeholders who gathered to do these working groups. And again, we'll be publishing this plan coming up soon per the FIFA guidelines. And you can see there's all different kinds of tactics in there on child labor and labor trafficking. We're going to have a work center for at the Fan Festival for worker grievances. All these different things that are in here are part of the plan, again, that we feel very good about. It's doing the right thing, and that has received very positive feedback from FIFA. So tried to give you a lot, but on a high level general perspective of where we are in the planning process. So
just wanted, first of all, Chris, thank you and the host committee for amazing work. I mean, I'm so proud of where we're going and what we've done so far and what you have done. So you, John Arnold, Ryan, just amazing work. And when the legacy plan comes into fruition, it's going to be something we're all proud of, because what FIFA, the summer next year obviously is important and the game, but how we impact this community for years to come as a result of the host committee and the work that's being done. I'll tell you, this board is going to be so proud to have contributed to this legacy program that will impact Houston, Harris County for potential generations to come.
Yep.
And so thank you for that and the focus on that as well. Just wanted to mention that.
Yeah. It's real impact, right? I mean, lots of times there's initiatives like this that are more or less a photo op, and this is legitimate major impact with, like I said, a lot of different people from the county, the city, and other entities. We would not be able to pull this off if it wasn't for the World Cup, right? We're leveraging the World Cup and bringing everybody together and sharing a vision and hopefully making something really big happen, to your point, that'll be impactful for a long time.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Oh, yes.
I just want to say, I know when we started off the 16 work streams, so I appreciate you talking about traffic safety and transportation, because that's one of the things
Yeah.
I look forward to it's unveiling and come back for that. Also, the general contractor, look forward to the sub-opportunity.
You got it. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, no, look, we'd be here all day if I was trying to cover all 16 work streams right now. These are probably the most critical, the most important to the community that involve the most money and the most coordination. So we can cover some of the smaller ones going forward as well. And we're look forward to working with you on again, that's our biggest opportunity to give the community business is through this fan festival and the letting of those contracts. So we'll continue to work with you and Lacey on all of those programs.
I'd like to just call out how it's difficult to understand the impact of getting the compensation expenses in legislation. And similarly, the great example of the collaboration happening with your team, the city, the county, the IPR teams, working together with the other cities. But I think it's just play a big leadership role in that effort. And took little things that nobody's going to do about. We got an opportunity to start a relationship with the Trump administration, and the tensions dropping everything.
Yep.
Open that doorway up. That is tremendous help. It relieves pressure neither the city nor the county. Really tolerate the financial exposure is this type of situation. The host committee couldn't have either. So this is massive enabler that makes these initiatives all the greatness that we're working on possible. Massive.
Yeah. Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize you for helping out, bringing in Josh Sanders from the city to help lead our government relations efforts at the federal level. You did that back in October, and he was huge, still is huge. So it's been him and Tammy at the county as well have been incredible assets to our host committee.
Thank you all very much.
And as busy as you are, I want to thank our CEO for making time to be on our program. He's going to be on the air. Ratings are going to go real up this weekend, so I'll send out all the info and give everybody an update. Thank you, Chris, for all that you and the team. It's, not speaking, but every day support your work.
So I'm sure this might have been pointed out, but this is our new office now. So right across the hall, we were sort of officing out of the Sports Authority headquarters, but it was a challenge as we tried to grow and bring in the proper amount of people to run this. So if you know anybody at Amegy Bank, give them a big thank you. They have provided us this office space in the most under the most unbelievable terms, and it's far more space than we need. But FIFA will be moving in here come January 1. They've got about 20 people, so they'll take that corner, and we're down this corner. But stop on by and say hello, and now you know where we are, and we can visit you as well when they come. So, but thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
I do want to, and as big as World Cup is, and Marcel, you mentioned it, and that World Cup is kind of sucking the air out of the room, but I want to make sure that we're not forgetting about some of the fantastic events before World Cup that are happening. One, obviously, World Baseball Classic. We've got AAU Junior Olympics at the end of this month, which is July 22nd through August 2nd. 16,000 kids from across the country are coming to Houston, along with their parents and coaches and everything else. We've also got, and I know Doug has already left, but Sweet 16 at Toyota Center as well. So, and Fleet Week, thank you to Mr. Newport's efforts and him asking us to be helpful in that. So there's a lot of great stuff coming into the region before World Cup, so I want to make sure we don't forget about the other impactful events that the Sports Authority is participating in prior to World Cup as well. I also, the last thing that I want to say is congratulations to our own Holly DeBeer, formerly Kesterson. She yesterday was her first day back from a honeymoon and wedding ceremony, so she is now a married woman. We've had to change the name on her office door. We decorated a little bit, so I know that she's watching now. She couldn't join us today. She's at the office, but congratulations to Holly on her wedding. Mr. Chairman.
All right, so with that, we will head into executive session. We'll move to a conference room on the other side of this floor. But I'll read this. The Board of Directors may go into executive session if necessary pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code for one or more of the following reasons: consultation with the board's attorney to seek or receive legal advice or consultation regarding pending or contemplated litigation. The Board of Directors may announce that it will go into executive session on any item listed on the agenda if the subject matter is permitted for a closed session by provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. The board will reconvene in open session at the close of the executive session. The start time of this executive session is 11:14 a.m. So reconvening from an executive session back into open session, and the time is 11:55. And going, I don't know where Ryan is, but I think we go back to the our agenda, and we were out of order, and so I think we go back to the Finance Committee report, and so with that, we'll call our Finance Chair, Mr. Chad Burke, to address the report.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. We'll go over monthly financials, investments, and a couple other things. I wanted to start with the monthly financials. I'll break this into about 3 or 4 parts real briefly, though. I always like to start with our HOT and MVRT, just so we kind of know where we're at. If you can find it in the behind the blue tab, or behind the blue sheet in there, HOT and MVRT collections, it's broken down a couple of ways. First is year-to-date through the end of May versus budget. And if you look at that through the end of May, 33.4, almost 0.5 million in collections. Versus budget was 30.3, so we're about 2.9 over versus budget. I always prefer to look at how we're doing year over year. So if you flip the page to year over year collections, again, that 33.49 for 2025 versus 31.26 was last year's, so roughly 2.2 million ahead of last year, which was, if y'all remember, a high water mark for us in collections. You can continue to flip over and kind of look at the projections, the forecast, I guess, if it will. Forecast on this pace is about 76 million versus last year, which was 74 million, again, kind of a high water mark. And I apologize, it is very hard to find all the pages in there. I see Chris has it, though, so. But I always like to start with that, just so we kind of know that we're on pace and that we're seeing what we see. This bleeds into a lot. I mean, this is the bulk of our revenue. It bleeds into a lot of our ability, obviously, to cover our debt service. So if you look at it again, 33.4 through May, or through 5 months. Our debt service for 2025 is almost $63 million. So we're well on pace to cover that. And then be able to put a little back, and then we've talked about that a little bit in an executive session, but our ability to cover our debt over the next several years, since last year's defeasance and refinancing, will create space for us in the future to help work on our facilities. So that's always kind of one of the key things that I look at, so that I make sure I'm understanding that correctly. Moving on to investments, you can flip through to the investments page. Accrued interest and those types of things. I'll just say this kind of in a summary, going off some of the notes here. December 31st of 24, the quarterly investments report indicates that the book value of the portfolio was $238.9 million. The investment income for the quarter was $2.9 million. And all investments adhere to the Public Funds Investment Act. So investments, we're doing pretty good right there. We're still making money on our money. Kind of leave it at that for the experts. And then next, our budget, which is at the very end of the 9th tab there. You can see it's kind of a little one-pager there. Our budget for the year through May 31st. You can see columns of last year versus our budget versus this year. So starting with actual this year, again, we've got the $33 million in MVRT and hot taxes. You've got your rent from the Rockets, Texans, and Rodeo at about $9 million. Stadium revenues of $4.6 million. Investment income, $4.2 million. Event reimbursements, 1.2. You'll see that's versus 6.5 for last year, and that's really the biggest difference when you see the total revenue is 53 million this year versus 57.5 last year. That event reimbursement of 6.5 in 24 came from our Final Four and our college football. So those were really nice reimbursements there that we're not going to see that this year. But then when we get reimbursed for FIFA in 27, or 26, you'll see that kick back up. So, but all told, we're still ahead of budget, over $4 million. You can see there at the variance, and then expenses are all kind of within budget. We're running under budget on everything there, about $193 million. So for total is 4.3 million, okay? Ahead of budget right now. You can kind of see at the bottom of that page, the TxDOT reimbursement funds. Again, we got the 121, we've made 2.2, so it's making good money for us right now. That's probably through that's through 5 months. So you can see we're almost at 5% interest right there. Total settlement, 123.9. We do have that 11 million set aside but not approved yet for total funds of really still above 123 million, almost 124 million. So that is, any questions on the actual budget? So we're in good shape there. Looking at the investment report, there we can I could go over here to some investments, but that you'll see our investments portfolio balances and characteristics. I'll kind of read the summary for you here. December 31st of last year, the quarterly investment reports indicated that the book value was $238 million. The investment income for the quarter was $2.9 million. All investments adhered to Public Funds Investment Act. And then kind of coming into this year, the first quarter, March 31st, the quarterly investment reports show the book value of $225.6 million. The investment income for the quarter was $2.4 million. And again, all investments complied with Public Funds and Investment Act. So, Phil, Phil's here. Any questions on our investments that we, that y'all see in there that you might want to ask? We got the experts here in house. If not, I'll move on to our next bullet. Actually, do we need to approve that? Yeah, we'll need a motion to approve that financial report. If there's no questions.
Do you want to do the motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve this financial report.
So there's a motion to approve the monthly financial and quarterly investment report. Do I have a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those, or any discussions? No discussion. All those approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the motion passes on the monthly financial and quarterly investment reports. Moving to agenda item number 10.
So discussion, review, and approval of the amendment to the interlocal agreement with Harris County for investment services and the execution thereof. So Harris County Office of Management and Budget handles our investments, as most of you probably are aware, based on their Sports Authority Chief Investment Officer's recommendations. The agreement for this service ends July 31st of this year. Harris County has proposed a 2-year renewal agreement at $70,500 per year. That is up from $45,000 a year per year, with a cost analysis explaining the fee increase. So my question was, why are we paying so much more? And the feedback that I got back, and Ryan and guys, I'll let y'all chime in on this. We have had the same fee for a long time. This fee adjustment is justified, and it's still probably a good deal. It's kind of the feedback that I got versus going with someone else. So questions on that? But we did have a good discussion on that, rather than just kind of rubber stamping a $30,000 a year increase. Are you the reason that it went up $30,000? Okay. Any other discussion on that? I think staff felt, everybody felt comfortable with that once we got all the justification. So
We did, yeah. This is still a lot less than we'd be paying with one of the big guys.
There you go.
One of the private firms.
So that is my motion, that we do approve that, the amended
All right,
interlocal.
so there's a motion and a second to approve the interlocal agreement with Harris County for investment services. Any other discussion? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And I think we have one abstention, Mr. Menifee. So the motion passes. Agenda item number 11.
Yep. So moving forward from that, also discussion and review of approval of the Sports Authority's investment policy, along with those investments. So our investment policy is presented for approval for the 2025, 2026, and it aligns with the Harris County investment policy, since Harris County processes the investment transactions for us. So that policy is in alignment with Harris County's investment policy, and so we want to make a motion to approve that as well.
So there's a motion.
That's a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
There's a second. So there's a motion and a second to approve the HCHSA investment policy for 2025. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in approval say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes.
All right, and so it is number 12 here, discussion and review, approval and adoption of the fiscal year 2025 annual audit report and the execution thereof. So Daniel, and this will be a draft of that audit?
Correct.
Mr. Chairman, will we need to approve the draft or wait for the final? We will approve this draft. We will approve this draft. So we'll turn it over to Daniel with Grow.
So, good morning, members of the board. My name is Daniel Hubert. I'm a managing director with Grow LLP. We serve as the Sports Authority's independent audit firm, or independent auditor. Here to kind of go over just a couple of things related to the year-end audit. For activities that I think might be top and show for all their help, finding steps out, getting the audit done this year. Remember, I sort of released things about the audit financial transactions. Excuse me. And I think that they did a great job in responding to the questions that we did. I was want to introduce the things today. Part of the audit business here, we do anticipate us to bring in modified financial transactions perspective, there's really two big things that happened in fiscal year 2024 that sort of affect the financial statements for the authority. The first of those was the sales of land to TxDOT that naturally represented a pretty significant inflow of cash. The basis of that land, excuse me, on the full accrual financial statements of the Sports Authority was about $3.8 million and a total transaction value of about $120 million. So there's naturally a large gain recognized on the sale of that land on the Sports Authority books this year for about $117 million. The second transaction that happened was sort of a couple of tranches of things. It was a overall debt restructure, right? We had the refunding bonds as well as some cash defeasances that eventually, kind of in the wash, took care of some of the future debt service payments for the authority. So in the financial statements, you'll note that there's some note disclosures associated with this in the back. I'll just point out that overall, that transaction represented a present value sort of economic gain on the defeasance of about $89 million, and it reduced your total debt service payments in the future by about $270 million. So overall, we've accomplished the goals of what that restructure was trying to do. There was, again, a significant amount of work that went into all these calculations, both from Matching Advisors, from Phil and Tom, and so again, we want to thank them for all their help in getting this done. Otherwise, the general fund, the main operating fund of the Sports Authority, did recognize a decrease in fund balance this year of about $18 million. Most of that is related to that debt defeasance activity because on your fund level financial statements, they're not carried on a full accrual basis of accounting. So all of the debt activity that's normally handled on the balance sheet, the government-wide level, on a full accrual basis, is all handled on the income statement at the fund level. So it might seem a little odd to see that decrease. However, if we shift to our full accrual focus and looking at your full accrual income statements, there is a pretty large increase or gain of about $140 million, sort of recognizing the positive savings from that debt transaction and also the gain on that sale of land. So with that, I'll take any questions that members of the board might have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we need a motion.
Okay, so yeah, can we hear a motion to approve the draft audit?
So moved.
So there's a motion and a second to approve the adoption of the 2025 draft annual audit report. Do we have a second?
Second.
So there's a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? All those in approval say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you. Anything else, Chad?
That concludes the financial report. I will just make one quick comment as an economic developer with that hat on. It's one of the great things that we see about this organization when you hear Chris talk about everything that's going on, Marcel talk about the World Baseball Classic. These projects and these facilities create huge economic impacts, positive economic impacts for the city. It creates quality of life because we get to go to these international events, which is fantastic. And then it gives great city pride for City of Houston and Harris County. So I just love what we're doing. I love that we're taking care of our money and we're taking care of these stadiums. So appreciate the ability to, or the chance to work on this.
And thanks to you and to the Finance Committee for all the work done. And you can see the numbers in the revenue that the city and the county is generating through it, that a portion of it does come back and help us do what we need to do. But it's really helping everybody. But the work that we continue to do it with FIFA and the World Baseball Classic and the Battle of the Bands that's coming, all the events. So thanks for that.
Well, the one thing that I will continually point out is that, like I said, our main revenues obviously are hot in MVRT, and so these are primarily people coming to Houston paying us this tax tip for us to be able to do all these good things in the sports world. So it's not even really a direct tax on us, and that's a good part of it.
Yep.
Pretty soon, Mr. Chairman, I expect that the comments about the wonderful upcoming events are going to include the UCI BMX World Championship in 2020. Indeed. Pretty
Yes.
soon.
Yes.
Houston issuing rainbow jerseys. I know the Tour de France is going on right
I think that 2 meetings ago you were happy.
I think a
when that was
BMX
on the
championship,
board.
a rugby championship. I mean, these are, I'm fired up for this.
The rainbow jersey by itself, Chad. It doesn't need to share space, man.
Okay.
That's great.
So I think, does that conclude our?
Yes, sir, that
committee
concludes
report?
our.
That concludes the finance. Do we have any other committee reports from the board? I don't think so. The building committee already done, yes. All right, so with that, just announced there was a change to the next board meeting, just so everybody knows. It's August 14th, 2025. We'll circulate, if not already, a updated calendar assignment. On that, just so you'll know, we'll be discussing future board meetings dates to make sure that we are no longer in conflict with some other major board meetings that are meetings that are occurring on the same Thursday dates. So just kind of keep that in mind. But with that, I will ask, unless there's any other comments or questions from the board on anything, I'll ask for a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All right, any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. So the meeting concludes at 12:14. Thank you to everybody for all your hard work and being here.